Hello, everybody, and welcome to TNM Coaching Unplugged and Zoran Todorovic Interconnected Podcast, the space where you elevate your heart, you elevate your mind, your spirit, and today your body to the next level of yourself. You know, this is the space when you get these wonderful tools, tips, conversations around what will enhance your life to become this beautiful version of yourself and somebody who is actually maximizing and realizing potential, living the balanced life and enjoying the life as we know it. Today, I have a very interesting guest, and the whole conversation started with me kind of looking into the trends right now around the world, specifically in organizational development, in organizational psychology, and looking into what is really pressing and what is the key pain point right now. And more than ever, the key pain point right now for a lot of organizations is how to maintain mental health of its employees and how to maintain the well-being, how to maintain decrease of the stress, and how do we get people to really experience life without this deep pressure, deep stress that we're all experiencing right now. So this is one of the hot topics. A lot of the HR professionals, a lot of the managers, leaders are talking about it, but not only talking about it, they're also looking into the ways to implement this back into the work life. So today we're going to have a conversation about that. You know, I'll introduce my guest, Nicolas Thorsen, who is a dear friend, but also a fantastic professional. And he has spent a lot of the time in his career development analyzing how much companies actually spend on the sick leave of employees and what makes employees sick and why do they not come to the job? What is the cause of the burnout? How can we, support them? How we can help them not to experience this? And how is this impacting organization to start with, but also what is the impact on a human being? And also he has researched and worked with the organizations around the world to understand what can we do to prevent stress in the organization? How can we give people tools, competencies, skills to manage their mind, to manage their body, to manage their emotional state, to be able to become fully functional human being. And also he has worked alongside with a lot of the HR professionals to create this greater cohesion of the well-being and job satisfaction, which I think is really, really important right now, the well-being and job satisfaction and how this works together. And then one of the most important things that he has accomplished in his career is to support organizations and people to prevent stress, to give them the tools to manage stress, to introduce meditation and mindfulness within the business, to elevate the employees to the next level of toolkit, how to manage themselves. And as a result of this, of course, we know what's happened. It's high performance, authentic leadership, job satisfaction, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things that Nicolas has done, to support organizations around the world. And today we're going to be talking about mindfulness in organization. And jokingly, in preparation to this recording, we were talking about how your body is your instrument. And are you tuned in or are you tuned out? And what do we need to create in our daily life to be tuned in into the body being our instrument? And how is this impacting the well-being of yourself and then your employees, co-workers, and people that you manage as well. So Nicolas, welcome to the podcast. So glad to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Soren. Thank you for the great introduction. It was funny. We talked about that the body is the instrument. And then I found this newspaper and there was another woman saying exactly the same thing. The body is an instrument.
So we're getting there, right? People are realizing this.
Yeah, synchronicity.
Yes. So tell us more about your perspective. When we say your body is your instrument, are you tuned in and are you tuned out? Tell us a little bit more. What is your take on that? What is your perspective, and how would you like us to experience this conversation with you?
What I see is that we tend to get disconnected when we have a lot of workload on us, when we are just finishing a project we have working very intense on, then we can feel disconnected. And that is like being like an instrument being out of tune. But there are ways to get back in tune again. And one of them is mindfulness. Another thing, it could be a body session, conscious touch. But what I work with in organizations is mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
And it is actually some very simple tools, but very effective.
Mm-hmm.
The secret is to know the tools and to know how to apply them. That's and when you do that, you can really. It is actually a high performance skill set. One of the high performance skills, but many organizations doesn't see it like that. But as time goes by, we are and what is happening right now, and in the last 2 years, I think we are getting ready to embrace this tool also as a high performance skill.
Mm-hmm. I love how you labeled that, Nicolas, that mindfulness is the high performers tool. A lot of the people that we train within the organization or we coach, they're always curious to understand what is that toolkit that I need to have in my life, but also in my work to be able to be really successful, to be highly efficient, and to manage myself. So I love that language of this is your toolkit. Now, before we explore this toolkit, how would you define mindfulness? What is mindfulness to you? Because sometimes people have a different takes on mindfulness, how they perceive the mindfulness, what is mindfulness for them. So in your own personal life and how you work with the others, how would you define mindfulness? What would you say is that for you and for people?
For me, it's a way to manage the things that are coming in your way in a more neutral way, instead of dealing with it like a reaction. Then you can. It depends on what state you are in. Then you are more able to cope with the situations in a more professional way. So it's a lot about getting in the right state. Tools to get in a professional state.
Yeah. So I love that as well, because you're saying that for us to be able to manage or to handle and respond to the situation in business life or in personal life that are coming our way, our state is very important. And when we tune into a specific state that we call being mindful, then it's easier, more efficient, way to handle all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also to prioritize your tasks. I get that a lot from my customers, that they feel that after a mindfulness session, they are much better at prioritizing and also getting new ideas on how to solve complex problems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in addition to that state, that the state is enabling them to do all of that, to be in a different frequency, to be tuned in, to have more inspiration, and to be able to tackle complex situations. So it's a new, fresh thinking that is happening as well. So how does one get into this mindful state? What is necessary for somebody? And let me give you the situation of who is under high pressure. There's a lot going on in their work. There are competing projects, competing priorities. They get day in and out of the office, and they're consistently going through this. But at the same time, they want to accomplish, they want to achieve. So how do we get into that state that you define, that we call mindfulness?
What I teach in companies is that we train it. So I come, for instance, 1 hour once a week, and to train it's very simple. It's 3 breathing exercises and a body scan, and then we talk about what we are experiencing. So we are training it and implementing it. Once you have learned how to implement it in your daily life, you can just do like a morning ritual or evening or afternoon ritual, and it doesn't have to be more than 5 or 10 minutes. You can actually also do it in the middle of a meeting, just being aware of your breath. So so it's about implementing this awareness of how is my body actually right now, and how is my breath. Is it shallow? And and then you can take it all the way down to your belly, and then you feel that just in that moment you can change your state.
So the breath work is the step number one, basically, in accessing that state, becoming aware of your breath, really connecting to your breath, because you started that, part of the mindfulness, it's maintaining connection to yourself and not disconnecting from your body.
Yeah.
And what I hear that you're saying, it's actually conscious breathing, because sometimes I'll just give you the anecdote when I talk to people about breath, but they say, yes, but I'm breathing, what would you like me to do? But you are actually inviting people to start breathing consciously.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens when somebody begins breathing consciously in the body?
The awareness on the breath, also becomes the awareness of how is my body reacting right now. So usually we become tense when there is a situation. If there is something tensing up in the meeting room or wherever you are, and you're not able to find good solutions on a problem if you are tense. It's like you're shutting a lot of your brain power down. So what you need to that is the first awareness, that I'm not able to solve this situation from the state that I am in right now. So and then you take a deep breath and like calming yourself down a little bit, just by breathing down to your stomach, and that also calms down your nervous system. And then your brain goes to another state where there is, instead of being in a fight and flight mode, then it goes into the mode where you can actually solve problems.
How amazing that is. I mean, how just that one tool, when we're not shutting down into the fight and flight, and sometimes also freeze when we don't know where do we go, into the deeper connection to our breath that is liberating our mind or our brain to begin tackling the issues and understanding it from a different perspective. Great. So that's the kind of breath. Does the breath put people to become more present in the moment? Is that also the effect of it?
Yeah, it is. To become more present, and also to be more aware of the patterns of how am I reacting to situations like this. And so it's also about being responsible, being a leader in your own life, taking responsibility for how am I reacting, getting to know yourself. And then see, okay, now I'm feeling I'm tensing up. So now I know myself enough to know, okay, now I need to breathe deeper. Or maybe in the beginning you need to take a break from the situation. You can say, oh, sorry, I need to go to the bathroom, just 2 minutes. And that can change the situation completely.
Yeah, I know, because we're all struggling with this. You're mentioning beautiful words like becoming a leader of your life, taking full responsibility and ownership for the leadership, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Getting to know yourself, which is absolutely great. But honestly, from my own life and from the people that I coach and in organization and train, it's that level when we become reactive, getting that trigger and really becoming mindful in that moment. What do you need to do now in order for you not to react, because that will take you to a completely different trajectory and path, and making that pause, but also recognizing that, your energy is tensing up and you're getting triggered and you're getting, on a spin, so to say. So this is so important and vital for us to do it, but honestly, not easy always, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's not easy. But the tools are simple, But it is not easy to. It takes time, so you need to be patient with yourself and like raising a child.
Mm.
You know, it was not easy to learn how to walk or to bike, to be on a bicycle either. But you just need to be good with yourself and see the small progress, the small steps of progress that you are doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for me, those are the life skills, right? So ideally, in our education, people will teach us this before they teach us mathematics and geography and geopolitics, politics and physics and so on and so forth. You know, the life skills of connecting to your breath, understanding how you breathe right now. Is it shallow? Is it deep? Understanding the activation of your nervous system, recognizing your trigger, whatever your trigger is. I'm not being heard. I'm not being recognized. This is not what I agree with. This is something that, you know, I don't, yeah, I think it's wrong choice, wrong decision. Understanding that, as you said, removing yourself from the situation, getting into the breath, coming back, and then responding, right? So that's the foundation of first step that you teach others, yeah?
Yeah. Also, I also teach in Novo Nordisk, there is a talent program, and they are very aware of. They want to teach their young leaders to learn how to also to say no, to prevent stress. Because in a very ambitious organization like Novo Nordisk, it's you want to perform and you want to do well and you want to like get good grades. So a lot of them tend to say yes to a little too much, but it's actually not what the leadership want them to. The leadership want them to know their limits, because if you get sick from stress, it's not a good situation to be in. So it's better to learn to say no when you need to say no. Again, to know thyself.
Yeah, know thyself. Yeah, but that's the most difficult thing in life, and it's great adventure as well. You know, knowing thyself.
Yeah.
So saying no, preventing stress by being clear about your boundaries and limitations, even though if the field of the organization, which is highly ambitious or performance driven, it's pulling you in that direction, you need to be able to manage yourself inside out. And one of the tools is that you mentioned so far is breath. We will practice that. The second one that you mentioned was body scan. What is body scan doing and how do you do that?
It's also one of the tools to be more aware of what is happening in my body. So it is simply we are sitting on a chair. In the beginning, people thought that they had to wear a special yoga clothes or something like that, but we just do it completely normal working clothes, and we just sit on a chair. That's how we do it. So first we do the 3 breathing exercises, and then we do a body scan, and that's just to be aware of tensions in the body. Like we start with the feet. And then we relax the legs.
Let's do it. Let's do the body scan right now for the people who are listening. I think instead of you talking us through it, what you do, I think it would be good if you just do it. And, you know, if you're listening and driving, maybe you should stop because a lot of people are listening and driving. If you're commuting, this is also fantastic. If you're in a train or if you are in the bus to do this quick body scan. Shall we do it, Nicolas? Let's do it together. Yeah. I will be a guinea pig.
I just want to say that it's very beneficial to do breathing exercises before if you do it in the middle of the day. So we can just do let's start with the breathing exercise.
Breathing, yeah, and then we do the body scan. Fantastic. So get ready, guys, for listening to this. Pause, recenter yourself. Let's do the breathing and body scan, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So when you have been active in the mind, it's very hard to meditate because there's a lot of activity going on. So we need to get the activity down in the body, and then it will be much easier. So what we'll do is take our hands up like this, fist up to above the shoulders. And take a deep breath and open the chest. And then we're gonna do quick in and out breath. So on the in breath, you go up with your hands, and on your out breath, you take them down to your shoulders again. And then we just take 10 of those in and out through the nose. So are you ready? So here we go. 1, up, down, in, out, in, out, in, out. In, out, in, out, in, out. And just pause and feel already now, just being aware of how has this way of breathing changed? What am I noticing in my body right now? Maybe you feel a little bit more at ease. Maybe you feel something else. Just notice what has changed since we started. Okay. And then we go to the next breath. So it's called Ujjayi breath. So you prolong the in breath, so it will take around 4 or 5 seconds in through the nose. Some people also call it Darth Vader because it sounds like Darth Vader when you breathe. So it sounds like this. It's not so important that you make the sound. What is important is that the in breath is around 4 or 5 seconds. So breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And then breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you go on in your own pace. In breath. 1, 2. Hold. Out breath. 1. 5. One more in breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. And out breath. 1, 4, 5. And just again, notice how it has affected your state, this breath. And then we take the last breath. It's called Kumbhaka. We take a deep breath in through the nose and hold it for as long as you can. And when it gets too uncomfortable to hold your breath, then you just breathe out and take another deep breath and hold it. And just be aware of what's happening. Deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. And another deep breath in. So as you are holding your breath, just notice what's going on in your body. the tensions, other tensions. See if you can relax them just a little bit. And notice if your thoughts have disappeared when you are breathing, when you're holding your breath. And then just breathe out again. And again, just be aware of how has this breath affected your state. From here, we move on to the body scan. So put all your awareness to your feet. See if you can feel your toes. Or your heels. And if you can't feel them, then just put all your awareness there to your feet. And further up to your ankles. And all the way up to your knees. You can put your hands on your knees if you want. Maybe you can feel it better. See if you can feel the warmth from your hands in your knees. If you can make them relax just a little bit more. Then you can move to your thighs. Also move your hands to your thighs. And again, see if you can feel the warmth from your hands. See if you can relax your thighs just a little bit more. So they are completely relaxed. And then expand your awareness to include all of your legs, both of your legs, from the hip area and all the way down to your feet. Completely relaxed. Then move your attention to your hands, your arms. You can make them completely relaxed. Take a deep breath into your shoulders. And on the out breath, make them completely relaxed. And see if they can feel a little bit more heavy than before. And then move your attention to your stomach. You can also put one hand on your stomach. And see if you can feel the warmth from your hand in your stomach. Notice if there are tensions or you can relax your stomach a little bit more. Then move the other hand to your solar plexus, which is just between your chest and your stomach. And just notice how it feels in your solar plexus. Is it vibrating? Are there tensions? Or is it relaxed? And then you can take the other hand and put up on your chest. And just notice what you feel in your chest. This is where we sometimes store feelings that are not expressed. So maybe there's something that needs to be expressed. Notice what you feel in your chest. And then you can take your hands down again and just put all your awareness to your lower back. And then relax all of your back. And move your attention to the top of your head. And from there, expand your awareness to complete all of your body. From the top of your head all the way down to your feet, completely relaxed. And just notice what you feel right now. Notice your state. And then slowly come back to the room. Slowly open your eyes. And then usually I get people to talk to each other one-on-one and just share your experience with the one sitting on your side. Yeah.
I can share. I'm super relaxed. I would love to be in this state forever.
Yeah. So imagine having a meeting now from this state.
Yeah. Yes.
Instead of coming directly from checking your emails, maybe being a little bit tense.
Yeah. Or running from meeting to meeting, or not finishing, or being in between, or grabbing a coffee and then activating the adrenal system and moving from one thing to another.
Yeah.
Of course, you can be reactive instead of responsive, of course. So those two simple tools are actually the skills that anybody can practice by themselves with their colleague in their everyday work life to manage their state, correct?
Yeah.
So when people, in your experience, when people get into this state, and you get people to this state, and after this practice with you, let's say that you had them in a session within the organization, they go back. What happens? What do they report back to you?
When they have just been doing this exercise?
Yeah, and then they go back to work. Like, let's say that they go back after this, and they come back to you. What do they say about their experience? What really happens in their life as a result of this?
Yeah, one of the things is that a guy from one of the companies that I work in, he noticed that after doing this for 8 weeks, then he suddenly stopped shouting at his teenage boy in the morning, and now he was more he was managing himself in another way. That was a private example. But a professional example is more like that you are better at prioritizing your tasks. You are better at getting ideas. So this is also a great exercise to do before idea workshop. Yeah, and also they are getting more. They thrive. They thrive more. They are better at focusing. They're better at concentrating for longer. Their concentration, their ability to concentrate gets better. Their ability to focus gets better, and their joy, general joy, also increases. And this is also something that is there has been many studies also proving this. So it's
and I also
well documented.
Absolutely. And also cohesion, I think that, we are also challenging our well-being, with scatterness, the mobile phone, the text messaging, the platform, the logging into the website, the receiving emails, that all creates a scatterness of the mind. And I think what I feel when we've done this exercise, for me, it's like I'm more congruent, more cohesive, more able to be present to what I need to be present with right now immediately. Absolutely beautiful. I really hope that all of you guys will start practicing this, and people who are listening from the organizations, if you're an HR professional or your people's manager, now is the time for those core life skills of mindfulness to come back into the organizations and to be integral part of managing mental health. As we said from the beginning of the podcast, mental health of the employees is extremely challenged right now due to the situations in last 2 years, but we can do something about it, and those two simple tools are already enough.
Yeah. Also, I forgot one important thing. Also, your sleep also improves because your stress levels goes down, so you are better able to sleep to get a better quality of sleep as well.
I have a challenge for everybody who is listening. So just try this for a week. Instead of watching the television or watching Netflix or any other platforms before you go to bed, when you come back from the office and you feel a little bit tired and you have the meals and you see the friends and you Instagram and so on and so forth. And then we get into that space, as Nicolas, you said, which is a sacred space of the preparation for the sleep. Imagine if you were to do this before you sleep and then go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hear that 40% is having problems sleep and low sleep quality. 40%.
Yeah. And exactly. Then we go into the medication and we go into the pills and then we drug ourselves. But I guess, one of the issues with sleep is that the screens, we know that from the white light from the screen activates the different parts of the brain. It doesn't allow melatonin to be naturally prepared to put you in the bed. So you're actually activating yourself when you need to let go and really get into that sacred space of the sleep. Nicolas, wonderful. We can talk forever, but our podcasts are coming close to the end when it comes to the time. Anything that you would love to share to leave our audience with? I mean, you shared a lot and you gave us the tools and the practices, so we're super grateful for that. What are your last few words with our audience?
It's we tend to get disconnected. So it's important to have tools to reconnect, to align yourself with who you really are in your essence. Because when you come from that place, then you just perform in a whole another level. Everybody can see that. Everybody can feel and sense that. You come in a room when you are connected to your essence. It's that's the person that make the sales. That's the person that influence other people. So if you feel disconnected, then you need to learn, and we all get disconnected. So we need to, from time to time, so we need to learn these tools, connect back to our essence, who we really are. And from there, we can make much better performance. Yeah.
And then your body really becomes your instrument. because to wrap it up from the beginning, we talked about tuning in, tuning out. When you tune in into yourself, right, you connect to your body, then your body becomes this wonderful instrument that you can use in the most efficient way.
Yeah. If you see it as an instrument, then you become more aware of that you are not a machine. You are a little bit more sensitive than that. And you need, and actually, professional players like violin players, they know that I need to tune my instrument every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just heard that a guy like Tony Robbins, he is really a high performer, but he also does a lot of things to tune himself into to being able to perform on that high level.
Yeah. I was also lucky that I was coaching some sports people, high performers, not only in the business, but also in the sports. And I can tell everybody that, everybody is practicing mindfulness. All those techniques that we have highlighted right now, it's not just like that somebody shows up in that state, as you said, creates the sales, closes the deals, influences the others. Also the sports people, when they are mindfully present, they can win the game. And a lot of them right now are doing that. So, there's so many examples from the world why this toolkit is super important for all of us to practice right now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nicolas, for joining us today. It was a pleasure and joy to have you. Thank you so much for the wonderful meditation and body scan and your words of wisdom. We're always grateful. We're hopefully going to have you again in our podcast. For the audience, thank you so much for tuning in to TNM Unplugged and Zoran Todorovic Interconnected podcast. We hope that this truly elevated you to the next level of yourself. In this case, got you to tune in your instrument to become fully present, fully mindful. Until next time, thank you so much for coming in. Lots of love, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me.